Okay, guys, welcome to the introduction video for the Into the Cloud series. We just wrapped the Into the Cloud, our first retreat, yesterday morning. And so we recorded, they came out really good quality. We recorded the sessions, 5 full sessions while we were there over the course of 2 days. The first night, late at night after my concert and album release, we wound up spontaneously, spur of the moment, having Daniel do an initiation and initial session, just kind of speaking to us about the retreat and about the blindfold and how it came about for him personally, and then how that led to me wanting to do it and it turning into an event, turning into basically a retreat and a course that can be done online. And so this morning, a friend of mine asked me if there was material in any of those sessions that talked about why the blindfold or what the blindfold is about. And I told her, well, we did kind of talk about that on the first night, but it's not recorded. And she said, well, if somebody watches the 5 sessions, they might not get or understand that, just by assuming. So I told her I would make a short introduction video about sensory deprivation, about going without visible light, about the blindfold. And so I'm making this also for you who take this at home, who receive the package and have the sessions, so that before you can start, this would wind up being the first session, just explaining the premise and the reason behind going blindfolded for long periods of time, going into the cloud, depriving yourself of visible light. And I'm just going to share, I'm not saying that this is the absolute, authoritative understanding of it. It's from my perspective, a little bit scientifically and a little bit what my experience was. So scientifically, what visible light, it's everything that we see around us. And our nervous system, our 5 senses in our brain interprets what it sees and experiences around us as the totality of reality. We believe in this external, concrete, physical world that we see with our eyes, and our brain interprets it as the world, the real world. But the visible light spectrum of what we're seeing around us is less than 0.1% of the full spectrum of light that's in us, through us, and around us. Less than 0.1%. That means we've been identifying with 0.1% of reality as the totality of what actually is. And that's why this whole mystery of what's hidden inside of us, it's the other 99.9% of reality that Jesus calls the kingdom. And he says that the kingdom is within you. But when you close your eyes, what it seems and it feels like is just nothing or darkness, empty space. It seems and it feels like that, but what seems like darkness is actually light, and it's actually limitless potential, but it's unknown because it hasn't been explored. As you go within and you begin to explore the limitless potential, you begin to experience and have encounters within yourself that was there all along, but you didn't know because you wouldn't enter in. Jesus actually says that to the religious leaders of his time. He said, you had the keys of knowledge, but you refused to enter in, and you refused to allow those who would to go within. So this key of knowledge is the understanding that inside of you is this deep well of potentiality. It says, in the beginning of the Bible says, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. That deep is within you. Deep cries out to deep. There's a deep, infinite, potentiality within you of all things, of infinite mind, of soul, of spirit, of heaven, of God, of Christ. It's all within you. But it can only be known through experience, and you can only experience it if you go within. But what keeps you from going within is the feeling and the sensation that what is without is the real thing. We have this, it's a game, it's a trick that's played on our mind that makes us feel that there's an inside and there's an outside, and that's based upon the fact that you have a visible body, and that visible body basically is created in your perception by visible light. There's visible light that shines on you. Now you see a form. Now you identify with that form, and then you feel like there's this veil now that says, well, what is outside of my body and what is inside of my body? But what you don't know and understand is everything that you're experiencing is inside your consciousness. It's inside your mind. Even your body is inside your mind. But there's a trick that gets played on you because you see your body and you start identifying with this body and you think that there's what's outside of me and what's within me. That trick is based upon visible light. So when you eliminate the visible light, also a lot of people say that the two thieves that hung on the two crosses on either side of Jesus represent the two eyes, that they're two thieves because they trick you. They deceive you by making you think and believe that what you see is the reality, and there's 99.9% of reality right behind this veil that you never know because you never go within. You never go to the other side of the veil to explore what's inside the temple. So by going blindfold or into the dark for a long extended period of time, you begin to have experiences and explore what's been there the whole time. And so just two last things I want to share. So on a scientific tip, the way your body works is, the Bible says the eye is the lamp of the body, and if your eye be single, your whole body will be full of light. But what if that light within you is really darkness? How great is that darkness? So what you don't know is you have another eye within at the core of your brain. It's called the third eye or the first eye. It's called the pineal gland. But it's an inner eye, and it's how you dream. It's how you have visions. It's how you, when you pray or worship, you have experiences, encounters. When you at night, you go and dream. You go into other places. You can see people. How? It's because you have an inner eye. And what does that eye see? Because eyes see light. So if these eyes are seeing this light outside of you, how is it that that eye inside of you is seeing? There's another light. We're tricked. There's a game that gets played. What we think is light on the outside is actually the darkness that hides the truth. And what looks like darkness when we go inside is actually light that actually begins to get activated and reveal things to you, a whole world. When you lay down at night to go to sleep, sometimes it takes 20, 30 minutes, an hour for you to fall asleep and to go into that other realm or that dream world. And that's because as long as visible sunlight, starlight, is hitting your eyes, it shuts down what's within, this light within. And you're operating in this realm out here. But when you shut down the visible light, over a period of time, it starts kicking in the glands and the stuff inside and releasing hormones, melatonin, serotonin, activating the pineal gland, and that inner eye begins to open and the light within becomes activated. And now in a dream or a vision, you go into whole worlds. You can go flying, you see relatives, you go wherever the dream takes you, but it's a whole world, it's a whole realm. You're seeing it, you're sensing it, but where is it? It's in that realm that we call darkness. That's really light. It's right behind your face. It's within you. It's through you and around you. It's limitless. It's infinite. And you experience it when you deprive these eyes of the visible spectrum of light that's around you. So one of the interesting things for me, I talk about it in a few, maybe one or two of the sessions, but within 5 minutes of engaging the blindfold, because it's different when you lay down to go to sleep, you want to go to sleep. So maybe it takes you 20 or 30 minutes to fall asleep and maybe you go into a dream, but that's not what you're intending. You're intending just to rest and go to sleep. So it's totally different than sitting down and blindfolded with the intent of staying awake, with the intent of having experiences consciously and exploring. It's a totally different vibe. So when you sit down, you put a blindfold on or glasses on or whatever, but you have no intention of going to sleep. Matter of fact, you want to be fully awake and fully active and have and intentionally engage and encounter whatever you encounter. Well, within 5 minutes, I started having memories of different things in my childhood that I had no idea that I could even remember or that I would remember surface up. Before you know it, I was in my kindergarten class. I was able to see my kindergarten teacher. I was like, wow. And it made me realize all of that is always within me and accessible at any moment in time. All the memories of everything I've ever experienced is there. It's accessible, but I barely ever experience it because I barely ever think about it or desire to or go within. So it was amazing how fast, I wasn't intentionally looking for a memory or looking for anything. I was just sitting there and witnessing and gazing whatever decided to come up and to surface. And I would just watch it unbiasedly without judging it, just see it for what it is and allow the spirit to whisper in my ear or show me or tell me things as I was seeing and encountering things. I'm going to leave it at that. That's the scientific reasoning behind the blindfold and intentionally depriving yourself of visible light. It's so that you can then engage and go within the 99.9% of the spectrum of light that's in you, through you, and around you, always, all the time. We just don't know about it. Because we don't know about it, we don't believe in it, and what we believe in is the form and the body that we see in the 0.1% of light, and then it tricks us into a duality of mind that there's an inside and an outside. But there's no inside or outside, everything is in your mind. And I'm going to leave it at that, but as you begin to engage and explore and dive into this retreat, self-retreat, dive into these sessions, go into the isolation times and the meditation, go within, go into the cloud, go into the darkness, and allow the experience to be whatever it is, without expectation and without judgment. Just encounter what you encounter. I would suggest, you keep a notebook or something handy, so that at least every so often, as you're getting hit with revelations and you're getting hit with, experiences, at least every so often you can take a peek and just write a few things down so that you remember it, because that's really what this is about. It's growing through revelation of what was revealed to you as you go into the experience. And so you're going to want a way of somehow, remembering what you experienced through the engagement. But these sessions that you're about to engage, they're super powerful. I'm so blessed to have been a part of it. It's just the beginning of something that's going to keep being developed, and we're going to be hosting, several times a year. Each of the sessions, the next 5 sessions, super, super powerful, very groundbreaking, revolutionary, I feel. I've never heard something like it. So I bless you. I'm super excited for your experience and your encounter. And I just say, go all the way in high expectation, but without specific expectation. Go in with an expectation to have a super amazing encounter with God, and for God to meet you there. And, but without needing it to be any certain specific thing. Don't judge whatever your experience is, and find a way to record it so you can reflect upon your experience afterward. Love ya.